Queen Elizabeth's biggest regret about Princess Diana's life and death. The secret she can't share. Queen Elizabeth made mistakes that haunted her for the rest of her life. When it came to Princess Diana, the Queen's response to her struggles, her marriage breakdown, and ultimately her tragic death were far from perfect. The pressure of royal duty, the cold distance, the silence. Could it all have been different if she'd acted otherwise? What if Queen Elizabeth had expressed more support or shown the world a more human side during Princess Diana's very public pain? Could things have been different if the Queen had shown more warmth and support? Today we'll be counting down some of Queen Elizabeth's biggest regrets about Princess Diana's life and death, and how her choices forever impacted Princess Diana's legacy and the royal family. Stay tuned, because you don't want to miss this. Number 1. Not understanding Princess Diana's struggles earlier. Queen Elizabeth was known for her stoic approach, but one of her biggest regrets was not understanding Princess Diana's struggles earlier. When Princess Diana entered the royal family, she was young and bright, but also overwhelmed. The pressures of royal duties, media attention, and the strict environment of the monarchy made it difficult for Princess Diana to adapt. The Queen, accustomed to her own upbringing and values, did not initially grasp the depth of Princess Diana's emotional battles. She perhaps underestimated the shift from being a private individual to the people's princess. The mental and emotional struggles Princess Diana faced were largely invisible to the royal household for far too long. If the Queen had noticed earlier, perhaps Princess Diana could have received more understanding, and a bridge between her needs and the palace's expectations could have been built. This disconnect led to years of unspoken pain for Princess Diana, pain that the Queen may only have realized once it was too late. Number 2. Failing to support Princess Diana during her marriage to King Charles. Another regret that weighed heavily on Queen Elizabeth was her failure to support Princess Diana during her tumultuous marriage to King Charles. The royal family traditionally avoids interference in personal matters, especially marriages. Unfortunately, this left Princess Diana without much needed support during one of the most challenging times in her life. As the marriage deteriorated, Princess Diana and King Charles were drifting apart, each caught in a cycle of isolation and misunderstanding. Princess Diana often expressed feeling alone in her struggles, and the emotional gap between her and King Charles only widened. The Queen's adherence to neutrality meant that her support, while perhaps there in spirit, did not translate into meaningful actions. She did not step in or mediate in any way that could have prevented the relationship's decline. Looking back, the Queen may have realized that not intervening led to years of very public unhappiness, not only affecting Princess Diana and King Charles, but the royal family's image as a whole. Number 3. Not recognizing Princess Diana's mental health challenges sooner. Mental health wasn't a subject openly discussed in the royal household during the 1980s and 1990s, but Princess Diana's struggles were evident. Princess Diana herself admitted to experiencing deep loneliness, depression, and even bulimia. Unfortunately, these issues were largely brushed aside by the establishment. The Queen, known for her stiff upper lip and private nature, failed to recognize how badly Princess Diana was struggling. Mental health was a topic kept behind closed doors, especially in a family where maintaining appearances meant everything. In retrospect, this failure is one of the significant regrets Queen Elizabeth may have had. Recognizing Princess Diana's mental health challenges sooner could have brought her the compassion and help she needed, and maybe even alleviated some of the pain that haunted her. The monarchy missed the opportunity to humanize itself by helping Princess Diana, instead leaving her to battle her inner demons in silence, without the crucial support she needed. Number 4. Insisting on the traditional royal family image despite Princess Diana's needs. The royal family is built on tradition. Every move is calculated to uphold a specific image. But this rigidity came at a cost for Princess Diana, who was a modern woman with unique needs that didn't fit the traditional mold. The Queen insisted on maintaining that image, hoping that Princess Diana would simply adapt. Unfortunately, this proved incredibly difficult for Princess Diana, who found the formalities and expectations of royal life suffocating. She had her own approach to public life. She was compassionate and informal, traits that drew people to her. The Queen's inability to recognize that Princess Diana's approach could coexist with traditional royal ways was another significant regret. This insistence on conformity created tension between Princess Diana and the institution, pushing her to rebel against royal protocols. The Queen may have later recognized that by embracing Princess Diana's more personal touch, they could have kept Princess Diana happier, while evolving the monarchy's image in a positive direction. Number 5. Maintaining the stiff upper lip during Princess Diana's public difficulties. One hallmark of the British monarchy is the stiff upper lip, a refusal to show emotion in the face of adversity. While this approach has served the royal family through many challenges, it proved problematic in Princess Diana's case, as Princess Diana's struggles became increasingly public. The royal family kept its usual silence, refusing to respond emotionally to her cries for help. The Queen may have thought this approach would protect the dignity of the institution, but in Princess Diana's case, it only deepened her feelings of isolation. The public watched as Princess Diana openly expressed her pain, while the palace remained aloof. This inability to provide a warmer, more empathetic response gave the impression that Princess Diana was alone, not only in her personal battles, but also within the royal household. The Queen's insistence on maintaining tradition left Princess Diana emotionally exposed, and this approach to Princess Diana's suffering is one that the Queen may have looked back on with great regret. Number 6. Not intervening in King Charles and Princess Diana's troubled relationship sooner. The marriage between King Charles and Princess Diana began with great promise, but soon the cracks started to show. As those cracks widened, it became clear that intervention was needed. Unfortunately, Queen Elizabeth's decision not to intervene sooner only allowed the problems to fester. She believed that the couple needed to work through their differences privately, without outside influence. However, Princess Diana's pleas for help, sometimes directly to the Queen herself, fell on ears that were accustomed to remaining detached. The royal family's lack of intervention created a climate where misunderstandings multiplied, and neither Princess Diana nor King Charles had the tools they needed to address their issues constructively. This ultimately led to a very public and painful separation that impacted not just the couple, but the royal family's image worldwide. In hindsight, the Queen may have wished she'd stepped in earlier to mediate and offer a path to either reconciliation or a more dignified parting of ways. Number 7. Misjudging the public's love and admiration for Princess Diana. Princess Diana had an undeniable charisma that captivated the public, not just in Britain, but worldwide. Unfortunately, the royal family, including the Queen, seemed to misjudge just how much Princess Diana meant to the people. Princess Diana wasn't just a royal figure. She was a symbol of kindness, compassion, and relatability. The Queen's more reserved approach made it hard to see how deeply Princess Diana was adored by millions. The royal household treated Princess Diana as a member who was going through her struggles, but the public viewed her as a beacon of hope and humanity. This disconnect became glaringly obvious after Princess Diana's death, when the public's outpouring of grief contrasted sharply with the monarchy's initial muted response. The Queen underestimated the significance of Princess Diana's role and how much she'd touched people's lives. This miscalculation made the royal family seem out of touch, and it's likely a regret that Queen Elizabeth carried, not fully recognizing Princess Diana's impact until it was too late. Number 8. Not preventing King Charles and Princess Diana's very public separation. The separation of King Charles and Princess Diana was one of the most publicized and scrutinized events in royal history. It became a spectacle, with every detail picked apart by the media. Looking back, it's likely that Queen Elizabeth regretted not stepping in sooner to prevent such a public unraveling. The royal family's preference for privacy meant they underestimated the media's relentless pursuit of drama and the toll it would take on Princess Diana and King Charles. The Queen's decision to keep her distance and allow the marriage issues to remain behind closed doors ultimately led to a very public and painful split. Had there been more proactive steps, perhaps a controlled private separation, the intense media scrutiny and the damage to the monarchy's image might have been minimized. This failure to shield Princess Diana and King Charles from the spotlight during such a vulnerable time is something that likely weighed heavily on the Queen, as she reflected on the events that unfolded. Number 9. Underestimating the media's impact on Princess Diana's life. The media was a constant presence in Princess Diana's life, from the moment she entered the public eye. While the royal family had long dealt with media attention, Princess Diana's experience was on another level. It was relentless and often invasive. Queen Elizabeth, accustomed to a media landscape that had traditionally respected royal boundaries, underestimated the impact this constant pressure had on Princess Diana. The paparazzi's pursuit of Princess Diana was not only invasive, but also dangerous. And the stress contributed greatly to her struggles with mental health. The Queen may not have fully understood the extent of this invasion or how vulnerable it made Princess Diana feel. This underestimation left Princess Diana exposed to an overwhelming and often hostile media environment, without the full backing of the palace to protect her. In hindsight, the Queen may have regretted not taking a stronger stance against the media's treatment of Princess Diana, and not implementing stricter protections that might have eased her experience as a royal. Number 10. Allowing Princess Diana to be overwhelmed by the pressures of royal duties. The royal duties that Princess Diana had to undertake were daunting, even for someone with the charisma she had. While Princess Diana embraced her role as the people's princess, the expectations placed upon her were immense. Queen Elizabeth, having carried such burdens for her entire life, may not have fully appreciated how overwhelming it could be for Princess Diana, especially given her personal struggles. Princess Diana was expected to maintain a busy schedule, often with little regard for her own emotional well-being. The Queen perhaps believed that, like her, Princess Diana would adapt and rise to the demands. However, Princess Diana's genuine empathy often left her emotionally drained after public engagements. She needed time to recharge, but the constant cycle of royal duties and public appearances left her feeling overwhelmed and exhausted. If the Queen had recognized the toll it was taking on Princess Diana earlier, adjustments could have been made to ease her responsibilities and give her the space she needed to thrive within the royal family. Number 11. Not supporting Princess Diana's desire for a more private life. It's well known that Princess Diana craved a more private life, away from the constant spotlight. She longed for a chance to raise her children with some semblance of normalcy and to have more control over her personal narrative. The Queen, on the other hand, was a firm believer in duty and sacrifice for the crown. She may have initially dismissed Princess Diana's request for more privacy as incompatible with the role she was expected to play. Over time, however, it became clear that this rigidity was only pushing Princess Diana further away. Princess Diana's attempts to find privacy were often portrayed negatively by the media, which further fueled her sense of isolation. If the Queen had been more open to Princess Diana's needs for a less public life, perhaps a middle ground could have been found, a way for Princess Diana to continue her royal duties while also finding the peace she so desperately needed. This lack of support was likely a major regret, as it directly impacted Princess Diana's happiness and well-being. Number 12. Underestimating how her own reserved nature affected Princess Diana. Queen Elizabeth's reserved nature is legendary. She was brought up to maintain a certain distance, even from family members. While this approach worked well within the confines of royal duties, it wasn't what Princess Diana needed. Princess Diana was emotional, expressive, and wore her heart on her sleeve. She needed reassurance and warmth, things that didn't come easily to the Queen. The reserved nature of the Queen may have inadvertently contributed to Princess Diana's feelings of loneliness within the royal family. Princess Diana often spoke of feeling isolated and unsupported, and this was in part due to the emotional distance that existed between her and the Queen. If the Queen had realized sooner how her own demeanor was being interpreted by Princess Diana, she may have made more of an effort to connect on a personal level. Bridging that emotional gap could have provided Princess Diana with a sense of belonging that she never quite found within the royal household. Number 13. Failing to modernize the monarchy in response to Princess Diana's popularity. Princess Diana's popularity was unprecedented. She connected with people in a way that no royal had done before, and her approach to royal duties was fresh and modern. However, instead of embracing Princess Diana's popularity as an opportunity to modernize, the royal family was hesitant, clinging to traditions that seemed increasingly outdated. Queen Elizabeth's reluctance to adapt the monarchy to align more closely with Princess Diana's approach may have been one of her greatest regrets. Princess Diana was showing a new path forward, one where royals could be approachable, compassionate, and genuinely connected to the people. Instead of resisting this change, the Queen might have later realized that embracing it could have helped the monarchy stay relevant in a rapidly changing world. The failure to modernize not only alienated Princess Diana, but also made the royal family appear out of touch. This was a missed opportunity to evolve, and it's likely something the Queen reflected upon as the public's attachment to Princess Diana only grew stronger after her death. Number 14. Not adequately protecting Princess Diana from media harassment. The intense media scrutiny that Princess Diana faced was something the royal family had never dealt with before. The paparazzi were relentless, and the media coverage was often intrusive and at times downright cruel. Queen Elizabeth, used to a different kind of press relationship, did not fully comprehend just how dangerous and damaging this media attention could be. In hindsight, it's easy to see that the royal family could have done more to protect Princess Diana from this harassment. Whether it was implementing stricter privacy rules, taking legal action against invasive photographers, or simply being more vocal in their support of her. There were steps that could have been taken to shield Princess Diana from the relentless pursuit of the press. The lack of action in this regard is likely something the Queen deeply regretted, especially considering how much the media's treatment of Princess Diana contributed to her struggles and ultimately the tragic circumstances surrounding her death. Number 15. Being too slow in showing public sympathy after Princess Diana's death. The period immediately following Princess Diana's death was one of the most challenging times for Queen Elizabeth. The world was mourning, and the public's grief was palpable. However, the Queen's initial response was perceived as too reserved, too slow, and too focused on the royal protocol rather than the emotional needs of the public. The Queen's instinct was to protect her grandchildren, Princes William and Harry, by keeping them at Balmoral, away from the public eye. However, what the people needed was a visible sign of grief and empathy from the monarchy. This misstep led to significant public backlash, with many criticizing the Queen for being out of touch with the mood of the nation. Eventually, the Queen did address the nation in a televised speech, but the delay had already caused damage. Looking back, the Queen may have deeply regretted not responding more swiftly and emotionally to Princess Diana's death, recognizing that sometimes even the monarchy needs to set aside tradition and simply share in the collective grief. Number 16. Insisting on formality at times when Princess Diana needed empathy. The royal family's emphasis on formality is well known, but this formality often clashed with Princess Diana's need for empathy and emotional support. Princess Diana was an emotionally expressive person. She thrived on connection and understanding. Unfortunately, the rigid formality of the palace left her feeling isolated and misunderstood. Queen Elizabeth, who believed in maintaining a dignified and composed image at all times, insisted on this formality, even during times when Princess Diana was clearly struggling. For Princess Diana, this approach only deepened her sense of loneliness within the royal family. There were times when a hug, a reassuring word, or just a simple acknowledgement of her pain would have made a significant difference. But such gestures were rare in the royal household. In hindsight, the Queen may have regretted her insistence on formality, realizing that it was perceived as a lack of care by Princess Diana. A more empathetic approach could have provided Princess Diana with the comfort and support she so desperately needed. Number 17. Not addressing the conflict between King Charles and Princess Diana more directly. The marriage between King Charles and Princess Diana was fraught with challenges almost from the beginning. While the Queen was aware of the problems, she chose not to get directly involved, adhering to the belief that marital issues should be handled privately. However, the growing tension between King Charles and Princess Diana was not something they could resolve on their own. The lack of direct intervention only allowed the problems to escalate. The Queen may have believed that by staying out of it, she was giving them the space they needed to work things out. But in reality, her detachment may have done more harm than good. The conflicts between King Charles and Princess Diana became increasingly public and damaging, not just to them, but to the entire royal family. If the Queen had stepped in sooner and addressed the conflict more directly, it's possible that a more amicable resolution could have been reached, sparing both Princess Diana and King Charles a great deal of pain and heartbreak. Number 18. allowing strict adherence to royal protocols to overshadow compassion. One of the greatest criticisms leveled at the royal family during Princess Diana's life was their strict adherence to protocols, often at the expense of compassion. Princess Diana's struggles were well known, yet the royal family continued to expect her to fulfill her duties without exception. Queen Elizabeth, as the head of the family, set the tone, and her insistence on maintaining protocols sometimes meant that Princess Diana's personal struggles were overlooked. The expectations placed on Princess Diana were immense, and the pressure to conform to royal standards left her feeling unsupported. The Queen may have believed that adhering to tradition was the best way to uphold the monarchy's dignity, but in Princess Diana's case, it only added to her distress. In hindsight, the Queen may have regretted not allowing more flexibility and compassion in her approach to Princess Diana. A more understanding and less rigid application of royal protocols could have made Princess Diana's experience as a royal far less isolating and far more supportive. Number 19. Not acknowledging Princess Diana's contribution to the monarchy publicly enough. Princess Diana made an indelible mark on the monarchy. Her humanitarian work, her genuine connection with people, and her ability to bring attention to important causes all contributed to a positive image of the royal family. Yet during her lifetime, her contributions were not always publicly acknowledged by the palace. Queen Elizabeth, who was not inclined to public displays of emotion or praise, may have missed the opportunity to show Princess Diana just how valued she was. Public acknowledgement from the Queen would have not only validated Princess Diana's efforts, but also helped to bridge the gap between Princess Diana and the rest of the royal family. It might have made Princess Diana feel more appreciated and less isolated within the institution. The Queen's failure to publicly recognize Princess Diana's contributions is likely a significant regret, especially considering how beloved Princess Diana became worldwide. The lack of acknowledgement may have left Princess Diana feeling undervalued, and it's possible that the Queen later realized the importance of celebrating Princess Diana's unique role in modernizing and humanizing the monarchy. Number 20. Miscalculating the impact of Princess Diana's separation from the family. The separation of Princess Diana from the royal family was a turning point, not just for Princess Diana, but for the monarchy itself. The Queen, committed to maintaining the dignity of the crown, may not have fully appreciated how impactful Princess Diana's separation could be. Princess Diana's departure meant that the monarchy lost its most relatable and beloved member. The Queen perhaps underestimated how much the public identified with Princess Diana, and how much they saw her as the heart of the royal family. The impact of this separation was profound. It left Princess Diana vulnerable, and it also exposed the royal family to criticism for not doing enough to support her. The Queen's miscalculation of how much Princess Diana's absence would affect the family's public standing is likely something she reflected on deeply. By allowing Princess Diana to become so estranged, the monarchy lost a chance to evolve with her, and the separation ultimately led to increased scrutiny and a more significant disconnect between the royal family and the public. The relationship between the Queen and Diana was filled with both private challenges and public scrutiny, and the aftermath of Princess Diana's death left lasting emotions, not just for the royal family, but for the entire world. It's said that the Queen deeply regretted certain actions and responses, especially regarding the public's perception during Princess Diana's final years and the days following her tragic passing. What do you think was the hardest decision for the Queen during this time? Was there something she could have done differently to change how things unfolded? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you found this video informative, please give it a like, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!